most powerless people at this school saying there's racism here and nobody's doing anything about it. You have the most powerful person at the school saying celebrate the joys of diversity. And one thing I can tell you for sure that's fairly well documented but also quite logical is that there is nothing about celebrating the joys of diversity that in and of itself makes a school more equitable. I mean, it could be, it's part of the bigger picture, of course, it's part of the bigger picture. But the way we do that through festivals and that sort of thing, that does not get at some of the underlines. I'm not saying we shouldn't celebrate diversity, of course I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that celebrating diversity in and of itself does not make a school less racist or anti-racist. But a lot of the resources, and so this school is putting all kinds of resources into Korean Day and the International Food Fair and the Diversity Fashion Show and those sorts of things. But then, you know, this is the kind of stuff the assessment uncovered. But so what are you doing about racism here? What are you doing about racial inequity here? And then that's when we hear things like, well, we did taco night last week and we got the International Food Fair. Nice one. So to me the question is, and I also want to be very clear about this because I know I'm going to be talking about some of the things that you all are working really hard on. So I'm not saying we shouldn't do some of the things that I'm going to raise questions about. I'm saying we have to do more than some of those things. So, and also I want to say, I'm not talking here about intention. This principle that I talked about is not some ravaging racist who meets with his teachers and says, how can we be racist today? Right? That's not who he is. He's a very well-intentioned, very thoughtful, and he cares deeply about his students. Right? And that actually might make it more dangerous, actually. So, sort of in that spirit. Okay, we talked about that. So, I'd like to talk about some of the common ways that diversity and equity are operationalized at schools across the U.S. Share my thoughts about some of the common pitfalls I've observed and that I and others have actually documented in research. And then recommend some of the principles of practice that I have seen actually help institutions